I allow myself to live in my feelings. I honor them. But when I feel that they are getting to this point of questioning my purpose here, I remember that voice. I remember God asking me if I know who I am and reminding me that I am His, which is funny because we have this in The Chosen. That's where He meets you there. He meets you there and doesn't ask you to do more than that. Just remember who you are.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Made to Shine show. Y'all, I am in just over my head tickle excited right now because we get to speak with the beautiful Amber Williams on with us today. Y'all definitely know her from The Chosen. So many of the people that tune in absolutely watch The Chosen. And she is Tamar on The Chosen, plays her so beautifully. But she's also up to so much other stuff. I mean, I didn't realize you were also a podcast host, Amber and Amber. Oh yeah. But you're doing so much. You just came back from this new project. I mean, when I think about the mission of this podcast, like reminding every single person they all have a ministry. It's the way you shine your light in all spaces you hold. Like Amber, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because stalking you from afar, quite frankly, you do that so beautifully and so well. And I just am so excited to have you on the show. Thank you for being on today.
Well, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I am
Yes.
excited to dive in and just let's get this started.
Oh, let's go. And so we have a tradition on the Made to Shine show as we start off every episode with what is your favorite quote and why?
What is my favorite quote and why? Let me see. Well, there's one that I love to say a lot is that we wouldn't be all um, we wouldn't be all so different if we were supposed to be the same. God wouldn't have made us all so unique and individual and special and in all these amazing ways if He wanted us to be exactly like the next person. He made us special for a reason. So I definitely say that we wouldn't be all made so different if we were supposed to be the same. So that's one. I have like a whole
I love that. That makes me think of do you know who Lisa Bevere is?
No.
She's great. She's a preacher, but she talks about how like God loves us all uniquely. Like it's not like we're supposed to be these uniform robots that all fall in line and do exactly. It's like no, you're given these like our fingerprint, right? Like we're all unique and we're made
Precisely.
and it's cool to see because like I think a lot of times too, those differences show up over time in your life, even within yourself. Like I think back to younger versions of myself and I'm like, wow, I'm so different than her. And it's cool to think that God's love, like love me just as much then as He does now, but like the difference is there and the unique qualities there. And I think about like when we think about someone like you, like you're doing so much, you're on The Chosen, like you're doing all these films, living such a cool life. I was looking at your Instagram, you have this quote and it's, what would you be if you followed your childhood dreams?
Oh yeah.
And I'm curious, like going back to child Amber, was this a dream of yours? Like, are you living your dream life right now? Or was this kind of like came up?
I mean, yeah, no, it was. Which is one of the reasons I was inspired to put that quote because it's something I had always wanted to do. I was one of those kind of really what they call cheeky kids over here on the other side of the pond. They're like, oh, she's cheeky. I was one of those cheeky kids that like.
What is cheeky? I don't even know what cheeky means.
It's like witty, like one of those kids that are just kind of, they got like a little smart mouth, but not in a bad way, and they're just kind of outgoing. They're not spunky. There we go. That's it. They're spunky. They're not afraid to dance in front of people or sing out loud. And they're those kids that walk in, they're like, "Hi, how are you?" Like it's just someone's kid walks up to you. That was like me, right? Yeah. As a kid, not so much now. Now I'm like, I'm gonna hide here.
Wow, that's shocking.
Most people don't believe it when I tell them that. But I was one of those cheeky kids that just loved to perform and put on. And I was just like, I was watching, obviously should not have been watching certain movies, but there was the movie about the life of Tina Turner. and in this movie, Angela Bassett plays Tina Turner, and there is a song called "Shake a Tail Feather,"
Mhm.
and it's like shake a tail feather. Obviously, I had no idea what a tail feather was, but I was shaking my tail feather, and I would just and anytime someone came over, my mom was like, show them you shake your tail feather." So I just knew I wanted to do what they were doing. I was like, I want to be on stage. I want to be on TV. Like I want to do these things. But as I got older, it was like the world's like, oh, actually, you can't do that. You need a real job. Something that's going to give you lots of money so that you can, pay your bills and do this. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. And I studied to be a nurse. I have a degree in human resources, and I was like, I want to be a dentist at one point. And it was just I did everything. I worked in corporate. I worked in medical field, and did all of those things before it was put back in my path. And I also believe that they come to you when you're ready. And it was put back in my path when I was ready, and that's when it was just like, oh, I become an actor. And then it took a while for me to realize, like, oh, this is the thing that I wanted to do, and I'm doing that thing. This is crazy.
What is feeling ready? What do you mean by that?
Let Okay, so I think a lot of times we ask for things that we're not ready for, we're not prepared for,
Mm.
and and if we receive those things a lot of times that we ask because we really want it, it's a desire that when we're not ready we don't know how to handle it. For
Yeah.
example, I may have needed to learn humbleness and a responsibility. There was something that I had to be taught before I was prepared to be where I am now. And you can't compare your journey to anyone else's because God said, okay, well, they're prepared for this at this time. For example, you see children actors. Why wasn't I a child actor? Because I was not meant to be a child actor. I was meant to be where I am on this project at this time in my life, in this way, in this method, because who knows how I would have been able to receive this gift, or if I would have been even able to receive the gift if he had given it to me when I was not ready for it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, I think about like working out. It's like the only difference between a weight that's going to crush you and one that's going to make you stronger is the strength of your body to uphold that particular.
Precisely.
And I think it's not even because sometimes I used to like, and I do believe that so wholeheartedly. And what I've also seen to be true is God sometimes like there's a right timing for you to be ready for when you walk into that thing God's called you to in that time. Someone else gets blessed that might not have been ready to hear what you had to say when you walked in your blessing 4 years ago. And
Precisely.
so I think about it's so cool how like God's timing worked. Like sometimes it's to protect you from crumbling, and sometimes it's like Amber had to have started acting and doing all the stuff now because that's when The Chosen was coming out. And the way she played Tamar in this particular way touched Annie so much or touched someone else so much. And Annie wasn't ready to receive it yet. And it's a whole chain effect. Like sometimes it's not
Precisely.
even about you, it's about someone else you don't even know that is
Precisely.
like waiting for you to step into your thing, you know?
I believe that wholeheartedly. And there's something else that kind of plays into that. As I always say, is like sometimes we're holding on to things so tightly, like especially the things that we want. We're holding on so tightly to them that there's no way to receive anything. How
Yeah.
can you if I handed you $100 right now and you're like this, how would you receive it? You can't. You have to open, you have to release things, you have to be willing to receive and just kind of you know what I mean, to be able to receive these
Exactly.
blessings. But sometimes our desire and our need and our want for something so badly, it's just we're not allowing ourselves to receive what it is that God wants to bless us with, or
Yeah.
we're at this point in our life where we're still trying to hold on to things that aren't meant for us. And I
Mm,
realized that was just kind of the direction I was going in, is holding on to things, and it wasn't
mm,
allowing me to receive, you know,
better.
what was for me. And I was like, why is this not happening? So, honey, you got to let that go so I can give you what you really need, what's
Yeah.
coming for you.
Which is scary. And I think too, have
Oh,
you ever
yeah.
seen the picture of the little girl with the teddy bear?
Which one?
Have you seen it? I'll
It,
send it to you after this.
okay.
So basically, this little girl's holding this teddy bear, and it's this cute little teddy bear. And then there's a picture of Jesus with this massive teddy bear behind
Yes.
him. But he's yeah, okay. So that's what I thought of when you're talking about that because
Yep.
it's so true. But there's this point where you go through. It's like you have to give up what you have before you
Mm-hmm.
go to the next thing. And
That's
there, no one
frightening.
talks about that like little sliver of a period that might last 6 months, but it feels like 600 years where you don't know. You're like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't know if the better thing is coming. I don't know if I just gave up the best thing that I ever was going to get. And it almost is this feeling of like, where do I fit? And
yeah.
where do I belong? Like
Yeah.
for you, going through like you were in a corporate career, et cetera, and now it's like you're an actress. It's like, do I fit as an actress? Do I? And something you said on an interview I watched was about Tamar, like the chosen, and how at first she wasn't even supposed to be
No.
invited back. But in season 3, there was this emphasis on women. And I didn't even think about it this way, but here she is. She's this Gentile and she's following with like these Jewish women, like following Jesus. And there is this sense of like, where do I fit? Like
Yeah.
belonging. And so talk to me about that, like seasons of your life that kind of paralleled maybe what Tamar felt and then like where do I fit? And then how that was portrayed on for you on the screen, like what that did.
Well, yeah, I can tell you that there's been several times in my life where I've had to step out on faith, and it's just like this thing, that I either have been working for, I prayed for, and it's just like, well, how do you put the work behind the faith? And it was
Mhm.
just like I had to let
Yeah.
everything go. And when I say let everything go, I mean leave my nice, comfortable job, with health insurance and all of these things to pursue acting and be homeless. Like I was in
Wow.
a very toxic marriage at the time, and I was going to stay in it because that's like what they teach you sometimes. It's like, hey, what people don't always teach you is that God, they like he kept saying, what did he kept saying? God loves marriage. And I'm like, well, what I learned is God only loves marriage that He ordains, and if you can't just go out marrying anybody. God tells you, you know what I mean?
I once heard it put God hates divorce, not divorced people. Because
Hmm.
again, it's different. He loves his people and like he loves marriage that he ordains. So exactly.
Exactly. So I prayed. I prayed. I didn't just leave. I prayed about it, and I was like, if I'm not supposed to be here, please tell me I'm not supposed to be here because I'm not just going to
Mm,
go. And he
mm,
made it loud and clear. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to leave him with everything. I don't
mm.
want any of it. I don't want the house, the car, the dog,
Wow.
any of his money. I don't want anything. And I'm just going to step on faith. And if it's it, and I know you'll make a way. And that's exactly what happened. And like within a year, because I'm sleeping on couches for a while, I don't even know like how I was able to when I finally did get a place to pay the rent. Like, how was I paying the rent and bills and my medication
Wow.
because I have lupus? And how
Wow.
was I able to do this? And it was only God, because I had nothing of my own. And within a year, everything had changed. It's like I had my own place, my own car, my own phone. I had health insurance. I had a job. I had this, and I was like,
What
it
like
was
you
a
were getting more acting gigs or like
not even yet. Like, it had the acting gigs had not come yet. It was just stability that God provided for me. And because I had nothing, I literally had nothing, and there was nothing of my own devices that brought that into my life. What it did do is letting everything go allowed him to be like, I'm going to take care of you so that you can be in the position I want you to be in when the
mm,
time comes. And that's exactly what happened. Because had I not quit the job and left, and I would have never had a job flexible enough to do the auditions. I would have never met my current husband. I would have
mm,
never moved to Spain, which is where I was living when I got the audition for The Chosen.
wow.
And I would have never had a little money saved so that I could pay for myself to fly to Texas because it was a local hire. So I paid for my flight and my hotel. I made no money on the first season because I just really wanted to be a part of it. So like I would have never been in any of these positions. And I find that with Tamar, she went through so much. We both went through so much, but she didn't allow that to define her. Now it
Mm,
did, and you do notice that play out in season 3 between her and Mary, that it
mm,
sometimes what you go through does define the choices that you make. whether or
Mhm.
not you're conscious of it. It does
Yeah.
define sometimes the behavior that you do. But we notice that with her, she's not afraid to start over. She she's not
Mhm.
afraid to start over. She left, and it's never too late. And she proved that. She's like, you know what? I went from whatever life she has as a princess and this family business to moving to another country where she's the only person that looks like her,
Mhm.
like me. I
Mhm.
moved to Spain and
Y'all
I
have so
don't
many
speak the
parallels.
language.
Yeah. Oh my
And
god.
neither did she. And here she is. She moves here and she builds a life and she starts over again. And she decides not to let the world beat her up. She's like, I'm gonna own my space and I'm going to be useful and productive. And I love how she didn't even question who Jesus was at all. You've never seen her question. In all of the
So true.
seasons, in every episode she's been in, she's never questioned him, not one time. And the first thing he says to her when she lowers him through the roof is, "Your faith is beautiful." He When she first met him, he came and he met her on her level. He didn't ask her to rise up and be something she wasn't. He came to her. He spoke her language
Wow.
on the road when he comes, and he's speaking to her, and he just says, you know I'm Jesus from Nazareth. This necklace, and it was really beautiful to me because it just shows what it's really like is that we feel like we need to be in this position to be deserving, and God's like, I've done all of that for you. Just be
Wow.
present. And I love to see how she has grown, and I think something that we do have in common, and it took a long time for me to learn, is that to hold myself accountable, you know when Mary and her have their moment, and she's like, you know what, Mary, you're right. Like, I could be a
Mm.
little more humble. I could be
Mm.
doing this a little more. I'm not going to change who I am because it makes other people uncomfortable, but I will evolve and be better. Like, I will do
Mm.
better so that those
Good.
around me can feel better as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's so good. Because I think that art is lost. The art of like um owning the things that make you special and then things that make you different. And but some people are like, well, I'm not going to change anything about myself because I'm awesome, and it's just this blanket statement. But it's like also taking personal responsibility and understanding we are called to love other people, and
Mhm.
like we are called to be in community with other people, and to be in community with other people requires you to make sacrifices, which isn't like your values, but sometimes it's like, yeah, if you were a little snappy that day, let's learn how to reel it in for the sake of community. Like you don't get to just be snappy all the time and say, that's just who I am.
No.
But I love, my friends and I talk about it all the time. I love how The Chosen showed light on kind of the tension that can sometimes happen when you have like female leadership in place.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in season 3, there was such an emphasis on women, and I loved it because it just really showed, like, I think sometimes there's this competitive play between like man and woman leadership, but I mean, in the Chosen, and like with you and Mary, it showed the kind of the tension between sometimes like woman and woman, and how like you have to learn with two ambitious women, two smart women, how that plays out. What did that teach you? Even before this, you're like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm a
Yeah.
girl's girl too.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have got to love each other and support each other. What did that teach you though? That experience, that like acting that out, about like practical ways to do that in ways maybe we don't do that in the modern Christian world right now.
Yeah. I can tell you that that scene is so important. And honestly, I've gotten so much hate mail.
Really?
Like, before episode 6 of season 3, I got so much hate mail because someone even straight up called Tamar the B word. Okay, so they're just like, this stuck up entitled so and so Richie little princess.
I
Like, they
am so shook. I just can't like you hear the stuff, but you're like, wow, you actually get hate mail on a
Yeah, so
Christian
I'll
TV show?
I'll I'll get these messages, and or I'll read them. Someone will tag me and I'll see it. Sometimes I read these things.
That's hard.
And then this moment comes, and then people kind of have to realize something. What about Tamar, or this conversation made you so uncomfortable. And we find that when things like this make us uncomfortable, it's because it's more of a reflection than anything.
Mm,
It is a reflection of something about us. We are projecting on them our own insecurities,
yeah.
or things that we are challenged, or struggling with as individuals. And when this conversation happened, I was like, oh, this is great, because how often has this happened? I've cut people off in my life. Like, I have, that's my toxic trait, is that once I start to feel threatened or uncomfortable or ostracized or something, I just shut down and disappear. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm the same way. I literally, I call it my closing off syndrome. I'm working on it.
Work in
Same way.
progress.
Same way. Progress. Come on.
But um what I loved about Tamar, and this is something that I have actually, this is what I have learned to do as well over the years, is that when this feeling starts to come, I'm like, okay, is it me? Am I seeing things? Am I placing this on someone else, or is it me, or is it
Mm,
actually happening? So what she did is, instead of just letting that sit here and fester and create animosity between her and Mary, because she could have been like, why is she acting funky to me? Well, I'm gonna act funky to her, and then they just have this nasty thing. Instead of
passive
doing that,
aggression.
she's like, are we okay? Are you is everything okay? She's like, let's open the door for communication. And even when she did not like what she heard the first time, she was like, keep going. Because the conversation was like, are we okay? Yeah, we're fine. We're not fine. Are we okay? Well, you did this thing and it wasn't cool. Okay, well, I respect your opinion, but I thought it was different. Is there more? And then it comes to a head, and we realize that she's able to do difficult things, and we don't like doing difficult things as people, and especially in the Christian world as well, but just in general, we don't like doing things that make us uncomfortable, so we avoid them. We would rather be uncomfortable than improve our relationships, than to do what's healthy. We'd rather stay comfortable. And Tamara is willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of this relationship, because she believes it is valuable. And I just love that, because it's just such a really beautiful example of how we can be better as women to each other. um
Mm, that's
because
so good. That's so
we
good.
I mean, will preach all day and teach others, and you know how we are. We're like, I coach. The coach doesn't play. Like, we'll give advice all day before we take it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she went and did what was uncomfortable for the sake of a relationship that she deemed, well, that is
More
valuable.
important. Yeah.
Um, it's the
Mhm.
only family she has, and I love that Mary was receiving of it.
Mm. That's
Obviously,
so good. I
yeah.
um I think too, like that word uncomfortable, because I think we live in a day and age where there's a lot of us that are willing to get uncomfortable for things that we know are going to be clapped for and celebrated for. It's really hard to be deliberately uncomfortable for things that no one's ever going to know about and things that aren't sexy. And like, it's like people are like, I'm going to do 100 push-ups, and that's uncomfortable. That's me getting out of my comfort zone. Like, that's awesome. You're getting out of your comfort zone. But like, there's a direct instant gratification from that. You have awesome biceps and people see that, or they see your Instagram post about it, or
Oh,
you're
there's a
scared to speak
serotonin
on
boost from that.
like, I mean, all of it, but like an uncomfortable conversation with a friend that you're just choosing to be mature about when you could easily be passive about, that's a different type of commitment to discomfort, because no one claps for that. No one's like, good job, Annie, you decided to tell so and so you were upset with her. Like, but also what I love is you, like in the chosen, it like Tamar and Mary, they were walking with Jesus and they still bickered. And I think that's the whole point. It's like when you walk with Jesus, you're not in that, like you don't escape from human emotions. You're gonna
No.
bicker, but it's like, how do you pick up the pieces when those bickerings do happen? Do you open the gateway for communication? Do you receive the communication
Oh,
someone?
I absolutely do. Like now, and I've actually just I told my husband the same thing because we still have our moments. It's, we've been together for just about 10 years now, and it's still, there's moments where he's so uncomfortable to say something, and I'm like, I'm not like, no, I am uncomfortable, but I'm like, honey, I'm gonna say it because
Mm,
I know that it's better for us later. And so I have definitely become the person to do the uncomfortable things, and people come to me now to do uncomfortable things for them on their behalf.
oh my
um,
gosh, that's
but
so
it's
funny.
just, for me, it's because I value so much, and I feel like once we do what's uncomfortable, it gives other people permission as well to be like, oh, I can admit this, I can say this, I can deal with this. So I'm not gonna spontaneously combust if I admit I'm wrong, or
So
because it's
true.
not just about us telling someone what they did to us. It's also about us pushing through that uncomfortableness of admitting we have done something wrong, or we could have done something better, or we've hurt someone. Because
Mm.
there's plenty of times where we know we've done something wrong. Like I just yesterday, my poor husband, poor thing. I don't remember what happened. I think he wanted me to take out the dog. And I was so tired. I did not want to take the dog, and I was like, oh. And I get
Literally
up.
me.
I was like, I didn't even ask for the dog. And I'm like, I get up, and I'm frustrated in my brain. It makes sense why I'm frustrated. I'm tired. Um, and he was just like, what? I was like, I'm exhausted. I've been working all week and da 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 da, right? And I walk the dog, and I'm like, I might have overreacted a little bit. Um, and when I came back home, I went to him and I was like, hey, I want to apologize.
Mm.
I think I overreacted for sure. Obviously, I was frustrated, but you didn't deserve to like my reaction. And he was like, thank you. And so this is kind of what I want to live in. And I love seeing that on the show. Like, I love that The Chosen, it shows accountability, and it makes us uncomfortable because it's forcing us to look in the mirror and face that part of ourselves that we have difficult doing in our regular lives, our everyday lives. And I really respect how they write women too, because you don't, sometimes when men write women, it's not. It's like,
I mean, I'm not an actress and I don't know anything about your industry, but I am a consumer. And so I consume what you're putting down. No, but it's so true. And like, I think too, it's so beautiful. And then the last thing I want to share here, because I know we're coming up on time, but it's so funny. Talking about like accountability and being bold enough to open up the communication. What I love about our God and like Jesus and the way it's shown in The Chosen, it's like we have a God that invites, like it welcomes our invitation when we bring him our discomfort, but he'll also come to us when we don't feel bold enough to say it. And I have to tell you this because it's so wild. Part of the reason I was so stoked to have you on, Tear Off the Roof by Brendan Lake, that song. Okay, so I was obsessed with that song. And when I'm obsessed with a song, it's all I listen to for at least 3.5 weeks. I don't cheat on it with other songs. I am loyal to my songs. And you can ask anybody I knew. I was sending them the YouTube version. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. Well, you are the first like face of that music video. Like when y'all are putting like bringing your friend down to the feet of Jesus. And I was just like, man, this is so cool. Well, the next weekend, I'm part of the middle school ministry at my church, and the middle school, the camp, the entire verse was that verse in the Bible. It was about lowering someone to the feet of Jesus. The whole point is, if you're not ready to confess your sins, at least hold somebody's mat while they are, and be that friend. And I was like, that's so good. Well, then the next week, you got back to me to be on the show. And I was like, okay, God, there's something here. And I was like, why does this song mean so much to me? And I was like, it's two stories. It has the roof where y'all are lowering your paralyzed friend down to Jesus, but then there's also the woman with the internal bleeding. And what
Mm-hmm.
I recognized is, to me, it like shows two types of almost moods or postures. There's the bold, I need you, Jesus. Like, I'm coming to you. I need healing. I'm asking for it boldly. But then there's also the woman with the internal bleeding, who she was so desperate for healing, but she hid herself. She didn't want Jesus to see her, but Jesus turned around and found her. And what that spoke to me was, because I feel like I have two parts of me. I have sometimes the days I'm bold and I'm open for communication and I'm holding myself accountable. And sometimes there's the days I just want to hide. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be seen. And like, I love how we have a God that is the God of both. And
Yeah.
like Jesus, he responds to it. So talk to me about the moments for you to round us out here where that bold, like, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to open up about it, it's not there, and you are more timid. And you said you're a hider. Like, what is
Yeah.
that like, and how has Jesus met you in those moments?
I mean, women are not monoliths, and
Not monoliths? What does
we're
that
not
mean?
monoliths. We're not just one way. We're not just this one pillar
Ooh.
of one thing. We are often walking contradictions, and with all of the bold and strong and powerful is also the timid and the
Mm.
nurturing and the sacred and the quiet and sometimes the submissive, like, and it's just we can be all of these things at
Mhm.
once, and we're filled with so much. And for me, I that's exactly how you described me to a T. Like, when I tell people that I have this in me, I am this way, they don't believe me, because when I'm out, I'm here, I'm putting on, but it's like I can forget to participate in society
Yeah,
when I am home and I'm in my
that's
place and
good.
I feel safe and I feel comfortable and I don't want to face the world. It could
Yeah.
be days. Sometimes I realize I haven't even gone outside. And and then there's also days, and not just in this safe little box, but there's days where I can be in depressive moods and then they just spiral downwards. And it's like I don't know where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do. I just know that it feels safe in suffering
Mhm.
sometimes. Like, you're
Mhm.
like, because you know what to expect. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
It's
so we
a
just
it's a known, familiar, yet uncomfortable, miserable place versus
and
like
we
a
stay there.
potentially unknown better place. Yeah.
Yeah. And we stay there. But I remember once, and I it was quite literal. And I used to be like, I used to get jealous of people like, I hear God's voice. And I'm like, I'm sure you did.
I've
And
never
so,
heard God's voice audibly.
right. So but I'm telling you, something happened and I heard a voice.
Really? Okay,
I was,
tell me about that.
but I was very young, and it quite literally saved my life. I was very young. I don't remember, maybe 16 or something, in just dark days that we have when we're young, because the world
Mm.
exists in this very small space of our life, and it's just
Our
everything is so
inadequacy. Yeah.
it's everything is just magnified at that age. And I was going through dark times, and I didn't want to be here anymore. And I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. There's no reason for me to be here. Like, what's the use?
Wow.
And I was at this place where I was just like, let me see if this thing could work so I don't have to be here anymore. And without getting too much into detail, I tried or went forward and to do that thing. And I was like, "Mm, well, okay." And right when I'm trying to do the thing, I hear, "Do you know who you are?" And I'm like, "Is that my own voice?" Like it's
Wow.
like it wasn't identifiable of if it was where it was coming from. It's like, "Do you know who you are?" And I heard my entire name, and I just heard, "You are mine."
Wow.
My entire name, my government name, my burning. And I was just like, I put them down and I cannot explain the difference between that kid from that day and then the next day. You would have thought it was two different people. And I always think about that when I have these depressive moods now. And I'm like, do you know who you are?
Wow.
And I ask myself that. And yeah, it's like it's easy to get emotional about these things when I go back and think about it. And so I allow myself to live in my feelings. I honor them.
Mm,
But when I feel that they are getting to this point of questioning my purpose
mhm,
here, I remember that voice. I
mhm,
remember God asking me if I know who I am and
yeah,
reminding me that I am His.
mhm,
And so, which is funny because we have this in The Chosen, there was as well. And so that's where he meets you there. He meets you there and doesn't ask you to do more than that.
mhm,
Just remember who you are.
mhm,
Um, and that's what I do when those moments come. When I find myself getting a little too comfortable in the dark,
yeah,
a little too comfortable alone, a little
yeah,
too comfortable by myself and
mm,
living in grief and sadness because it's been a rough past year for me.
mhm,
Um, um, and I'm very grateful for that because if I was left up to my own devices, who knows
yeah,
if I would even be here today. And so I just really want people to know, especially young girls, so when you're young, everything
so
is
hard.
just, it seems like there's no end in sight. But you're meant for so much. You're meant for you have purpose and you are beautiful and life will make sense, I promise.
It's
And
so
we're all
true.
literally just figuring it out on a daily basis.
Literally, we're all guessing. But I kept thinking, like, going back to that, like, truly, for I can't even explain it, but just like that music video, that song, and then seeing you
It's
in it, and then the season of The Chosen, like, it's impacted my heart and my life so much. And I just think about, like, God knew that I needed the impact you were going to have through your platform, and you're impacting so many girls. Like, He saw this Amber all those years ago in that night. He saw that. He knew that. And like, I just think that's so powerful. It's like God never questions your worth, even when we do. God never questions if you're beautiful. Like Jeremiah 1:5, like before he formed you, he knew you. Before you were born, he set you apart. He called you special. And like we are also special. And I just love hearts like yours that say that and remind people of that with actual things you're walking through and walk through, because it's a reminder, like, we're not inept from pain. Like, we're gonna feel pain, but our worth never in question. It is set. Always, always, always. And so, Amber, just thank you for all you do. You're such a light. And I know you literally came off a plane or whatever you were on to
right.
get on today. And I'm so grateful for you. And okay, The Chosen's out. Call to actions for this squad. Where next project? Like, is there anything you could tell us? This next film project? What can we wait?
Well, yeah, so I don't have any details about it yet, except that hopefully it'll be out by the end of the year. But it's going to be in Spanish. It's like I'm stoked
Oh,
because, mind you, I moved to Spain. That's where I booked The Chosen for the first time. Which,
yeah,
as you mentioned, it was only supposed to be for a day,
yeah.
and they call me back. But it's my first role like in Spanish. Like, because normally I book stuff here, and I'm like the token American, the journalist, that
So
girl. But I'm like,
that's
no,
going back to like what we talked about with belonging. I'm sure you're going to learn so much about yourself in that front too.
I think so.
Wow.
But I'm really excited. We're going to be starting up five in I guess like 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, we'll be heading out to Utah and we'll be getting started. I haven't even gotten the script yet, girl. So I'm like super nervous to see what's going to happen because like we know the stories, right? Like we know the
Yeah.
Gospels, like. But still, we don't know what's gonna happen, because I'm assuming you saw 1 through 6, have
Oh,
you?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but like, I think what's so crazy to your point, it's like, yes, we know the gospels, but Lisa Harper always says, if you get from the Bible, you're expecting to get from the Bible, you didn't get the right thing. Because like God always blows our mind. That's the beautiful thing. It's coming to it with fresh eyes. And that's what, like, I'm sure for you as an actress, that's even times 10 because you're bringing it to life. You're not just, you know what I mean? But just so cool. Okay, where can people find you? Instagram, all
Well,
stuff.
yeah, you can find me on Instagram. Like I'm like that. I feel like that's like the millennial hangout. This is like
I
Instagram,
literally was talking to a friend last night. I don't have a TikTok. I only have Instagram. So I'm like,
right?
where can
I
you
feel
find
like
me?
this is like Gen Z, and then
Instagram.
like Gen X and Boomers got Facebook, and so. But no, I live on Instagram, and I'm always like, I love it when you guys tag me in things, and I try to get to them when I can. Please, if you haven't already, watch episodes going
Yeah.
on 4 through 6 right now because 7 and 8 are coming. But if you miss it in the theaters, it's okay. It's going to be in the app very soon, and
Even
then
though
you can put
you
it on.
need that thing on the big screen. You need
I
all of
know
its goodness on the big screen.
there are some moments that
Oh.
just you got it's gonna be great at home, but it just
No, you
on
need
that
the reclining seats. You need the popcorn and the Skittles and the
and the
M&Ms and the
tissues. Do
ice
not forget the tissues, and you need the tissues.
and you need like paper towels, not
Someone
tissue.
brought a
You
towel. Someone tagged me. She's like, I brought a towel.
need the cry prayer towel. You need a mop.
You
Like you need
you should
all of
send that to the chosen merch team. Be like, listen, could you make a cry towel, please?
it. Give me the info, girl. I'm on
Like
it.
just a super absorbent, and I can just maybe just little.
Literally. No, see, I'm gonna coin that idea. It's amazing. No, but seriously, y'all, that it's such an impactful show. Every person I know, it has brought the gospel to light in a way that has never been done before. And thank you for your heart and being a part of that and that mission. And it's just cool to see how God's using you. But I know that stems from a relationship with Him, and
Yeah,
that's the coolest
absolutely.
thing. So
I think
thank you.
that's super important. Thank you. Thank you. Like
Thank you for
definitely every
yes.
relationship is special and valuable and he's gonna meet you where you at. So don't wait to be ready for him. He's already there.
Ooh, amen. Oh my gosh, Amber, you're a delight. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.